Hey, screen peekers. 20 years ago, if someone told you a game was made by BioWare, you would have bought it. No questions asked. They were undeniably one of the top developers for RPGs. So, how does a studio go from making some of the greatest RPGs ever created to becoming one of gaming's biggest cautionary tales? Let's find out. All right, screen peekers, before we dive into it, let's do some intros. My name is Nick, one of your co-hosts tonight. And with me today, he says he's a big gaming enthusiast. He is the #1 Xbox fan. However, he has never played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Let's shame him in the comments. This is my co-host, Marco.
Honestly, I deserve that shame. You're right. I was waiting for the remake. I thought that was gonna be the time, but who knows if that'll ever even come out.
No.
I'll get to KOTOR and the sequel. And you know what the sad part is? Actually, I'm gonna pan my camera up real quick. I have a Darth Revan statue too.
Yeah, that's you can no longer showcase that statue.
Should I take it? It's off camera.
Take it down, shove it in the basement. You cannot display it until you play KOTOR.
You're right. You're right. I'll take that shame.
But hey, welcome everyone. As I mentioned earlier, today we are going to talk about BioWare. We are going to talk about the rise of BioWare, the fall of BioWare, and what happened in between the rise and the fall of BioWare. How did BioWare lose its magic, and if we think BioWare can be great again? So, Marco, as you know, BioWare has created and developed many iconic video games, right? I mean, back in the early 2000s, I think even the late 90s, starting with Baldur's Gate 2, going into Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Jade Empire, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, and then so on and so forth. We'll go into more detail later on the other games, but that's kind of how they started, right? And have you played any of their video games? I know you haven't played KOTOR.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried KOTOR, but I never fully got into it. But no, actually, the first game I played and a game I remember fondly was 1998. No, 2000. Baldur's Gate 2. I actually played a ton of Baldur's Gate 2 on PC when I was like 6 years old, believe it or not. I played a ton of Jade Empire. Beat Jade Empire. Jade Empire is one of my favorite games on the original Xbox. Hence the thumbnail for this video. But no, the Mass Effect trilogy, quite honestly, specifically Mass Effect 2 is my favorite game of all time. I think about Mass Effect all the time. I don't think there's anything that comes close to it in terms of like storytelling and like world building. And yeah, I played a couple of the Dragon Ages as well as Anthem. So I played most of their games, but not all of them.
So you've had experience with a wide spectrum of their video games. I mean, from iconic games like Mass Effect, which, by the way, same here. Absolutely love Mass Effect, that franchise. Didn't really get into Andromeda, but Mass Effect 1 through 3, phenomenal, iconic series. And I think you viewers and listeners out there could probably agree with us. And I see you've played Anthem, which, again, is on the other side of the spectrum, probably not as good. People probably don't have as fond memories of Anthem, but I will say this. BioWare has been known for, one, their incredible writing, right? 2, moral choices that mattered. 3, world building. 4, I would say extremely memorable companions, right? I mean, like, especially Mass Effect. I do plan on playing Dragon Age more. I've played a little bit of the first Dragon Age. I don't remember too much of it, but I do plan on playing it now that after I've done all this research on this video that we're talking about today. It's like, I'm like, man, I feel like I'm missing out if I don't play through at least Origins 1 and 2, right? Like, I know Veilguard probably it wasn't as well received. It looks like a mess, but everything else, I think I need to give it a shot.
Yeah, and actually I'm the opposite. So I never played Dragon Age Origins or the second Origins. I did play all of Dragon Age Inquisition. I actually loved Inquisition. I know it wasn't everyone's favorite. People strongly prefer Origins, but as itself, like Inquisition has so much gameplay and so many hours to it. Like I love that game. I've not played Veilguard that much. I only played the first hour. And honestly, I am excited to play through it, and we'll go through the timeline, but it is actually pretty high on my backlog because of how much I loved Inquisition.
Okay.
I'm pretty excited to get through Veilguard, even though I know it has some of the lower review scores.
And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned Inquisition because that one actually totally skipped my mind. I remember at the time, it looked really good. I actually heard really, really good things about that game. And that's why people were so disappointed about Veilguard.
I mean, Dragon Age Inquisition 2014 Game of the Year, Jeff Keighley's first show, baby. Like it was such a it's so much content too. Like if you have all the DLC, and honestly, it's like one of those few games where it's like
that's what I heard.
The DLC makes the game so much better and like really expands on the story. Like it's a solid 150 hour big boy RPG. Really, really good game.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to give it a shot once I'm done with PoE. I think, like I said in our pre-show, I think I'm about wrapped up in PoE. So once I finish Star Fox, maybe I take a look at Dragon Age. But let's talk about how EA acquired BioWare. Now, I'll say this. A lot of people blamed EA for kind of the downfall of BioWare. So for those who are not in the know, BioWare was acquired on October 11th, 2007, right? The purchase was finalized as part of a $775 million deal to acquire this development studio along with Pandemic Studios. Now, that it seems like chump change nowadays, right? I mean, you're hearing about billion-dollar deals now, but you know, EA at the time spent a lot of money buying up this amazing developer that has an amazing track record. And well, I'll say this: they created Mass Effect 2, Dragon Age 2, and Mass Effect 3 after that acquisition. So I don't really think we can blame the fall of BioWare fully on EA. What do you think?
And that was so October of that year. So that would have been just after Mass Effect 1 would have released too. So I mean, yeah, like they already had, their flagship series started, Dragon Age Origins coming out like 2 years later in 2009. I mean, it's a little it's never fully blame in one camp, right? I think on both ends, like publishers do ask a lot of their developers and they do chase trends. I do think, like, just looking at EA's track record, EA has kind of sunk a lot of their franchises as well. Now I think a lot of BioWare's problems also came from many of their original writers who wrote these games. Like if you look at who's still there at BioWare compared to, the late 2010s, like I don't even know, like I think maybe one or two of the founders are still there, but like the core writing group, they've all moved on to other projects, to other studios. Like we know, we'll talk about it, but like games like Exodus, right? That studio is formed by a bunch of former BioWare people. Casey Hudson, who was one of the main writers of the original Mass Effect trilogy. I forget the name of the studio he moved on to, but he's writing that new Star Wars RPG game, which I also forget the name of. So, I mean, over the years, like obviously, these developers, these companies are a revolving door and people come and go. But I think it's a combination. I think it's a combination of their core talent leaving, but also, yeah, EA is a publisher. They're chasing trends. We'll talk about Anthem. I think they're chasing that Destiny money,
Mm-hmm.
the live service money, right? So yeah, I do actually partially blame EA because I see what EA has done with every one of their other franchises, and EA has just really screwed the pooch on so so much of their intellectual property in recent years.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I do agree with that. I mean, they don't exactly have a spotless record when it comes to not messing up their, flagship franchises. I mean, look at The Sims, like, look at, I mean, they don't own them anymore, but like Madden and all of them, right? Or no, they own Madden. They don't own FIFA. It became
Well, they own, so now they lost the rights
to
to.
FIFA. Now it's just Football Club or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
but
Yeah,
honestly, that's a whole different story. The FIFA organization is
yeah.
actually, we probably shouldn't
It's
say that on YouTube. They'll probably
it,
come after us, but that's a whole separate video.
it is. It is. So we'll stick to this side of the
No,
gaming sphere, but I would say this, right? I think looking at Mass Effect 3, right, where I honestly I did like, I enjoyed Mass Effect 3. I know a lot of players out there were very critical about it, but I love the fact that they've reunited with every companion. For me, all the companions survived other than Rex. I don't. Till this day, I'm not sure what happened.
you
But
killed
like,
Rex,
yeah,
bro.
he's the one that died to the genophage, right? Like the was it the genophage?
The genophage, yeah, same thing.
Genophage. Yeah, yeah. So,
Wait, you didn't cure the genophage,
dude,
bro? What kind of renegade terrible run did you do? That's crazy.
listen.
I didn't even know. Honestly, I didn't even know Rex could die from genophage because every playthrough I've always saved everyone. I can't let any of these people die.
Everyone,
That's crazy.
Look at the Paragon over here. All right,
Yeah,
relax.
it's the best way to play. That's crazy.
Listen,
Continue.
it was an accident, man. Like, honestly, I think at that time when I played it was just an accident. It might have been because I was going for a run where I'd saved everybody, but for whatever reason, Rex died. And I still remember it. I was pretty pissed about it. But yeah, anyways, I really like the fact that you were able to reunite with companions. The story, was starting to wrap up, and I mean, the gameplay itself to me felt more updated and with the time, right? Like Mass Effect 1, if you go back and play it, it does feel a little bit dated, especially with the Mako portions of the game. But I think a lot of people just thought that this is the beginning of the end with BioWare, because people were saying that, yes, the characters were great, dialogue was okay to good, but there were a lot of reused assets in games like Dragon Age, right? And that's where people start talking about how EA coming in, they are trying to speed things up. They're trying to push out these games. And I think nowadays you see games development actually can be a little bit longer. But I think between the early 2000s to the mid, 2010s, a lot of companies were trying to churn out these games, and they were reusing assets and trying to make, make their deadlines. And honestly, you can see the quality had fallen.
Yeah, I mean, for what it was though, like their little not even 6-year stretch, we got like 7 amazing games between starting with
Oh,
like Mass
absolutely.
Effect to like Dragon Age Inquisition 2014. Like,
Yeah.
that's such every year you're getting a banger. Now we get we're like gonna get one every 6-7 years, and being disappointing at that. But I mean, I think like Mass Effect 2 is my favorite game of all time, strictly because of the story and like the side quests and like how just I thought it had the best lore of the whole series. Gameplay wise though, I think Mass Effect 3 is actually my favorite.
Oh
And I
yeah,
think really like Mass Effect 3 just runs so smooth and like it's
so
just so
smooth.
action packed. I think people's only problem with Mass Effect 3 was the ending, which we could have a whole debate on.
That could be a whole
Uh,
nother video,
so,
honestly. Yeah.
but outside like ending aside, like Mass Effect 3 is arguably like their best.
Oh,
Dude, especially like the multiplayer we talked
we
about on the
talked
side.
about, yeah.
Dude, that multiplayer, like, I wish that they put that back in the legendary collection. I would have played so many hours of that thing.
I would be playing it right now. We literally talked about this, like Marco and I talked about this probably 2-3 months ago over lunch, and we're like, man, we need that. It is just so much fun. It was so good, honestly. I yeah, yeah. But man, and then like you said, there's a stretch of those amazing games, and then they released Andromeda, and then they released Anthem. Now, I think you were okay with Andromeda, right? You actually didn't mind it.
I'll split my opinion in two. So I played and I beat all of Andromeda. I know I just said Mass Effect 3 probably has the best gameplay. Andromeda doesn't. I wouldn't say has the best gameplay, but it has the best gunplay. I think just some of their powers and like the way you could do combos. Like Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3 had the power combos, but Andromeda I think took it to like the next level. The cover system, like it just felt so fluid of a game when you were shooting, but like everything else about the game, like where Andromeda falls short is the writing, the
Yeah.
storytelling, and it's just such an empty world compared to what they built in the original trilogy. And like, dude, I even to this day as a concept, like if the new Mass Effect ever does see the light of day, whatever they're gonna call it, like I actually wouldn't mind them to continue the story of Andromeda
Really?
in the sense that like I thought it's so interesting. Like let's get away from the Milky Way galaxy. Let's explore a whole new galaxy, a whole new
Mm-hmm.
galaxy of possibilities, like all new species, whatever. And they just like screwed the pooch on it. It was like, are you kidding? We went to Andromeda Galaxy and there's only two, well, I guess three if you count the remnant, like the robot creatures. Like it was the Ket who are like the main villains and the Angara, which are both like the Ket is kind of whatever. The Angaras are like pretty cool new species, but they didn't even have half the species from the original trilogy. Like the Quarians weren't there, which are arguably one of the best like faction species of the first trilogy. Like it was just so empty, but like at the same time, like there was so much hope for possibility. They could have done so much with it, and that's where it falls short. Like the gameplay is fine. Like even the nomad sections, actually, because you never played Dragon Age Inquisition, so Inquisition and Andromeda kind of function the same, where it's like there's these hub worlds, right? So like you go to a planet and you can explore the hub, and there's like so many points of interest and like little secrets to find, whatever. So it really does reward exploration. So it was like cool in that sense, and you could like drive around these hubs with like the Nomad vehicle, which is essentially like a Mako without guns.
Mm-hmm.
So like it had some great ideas, but it's like the storytelling, the animation, it was critically panned on the writing, like so many
Yeah.
memes, but like gameplay wise, like it could have been fine, but
Yeah,
it's
but
just it doesn't hold a candle to the original trilogy whatsoever.
right, exactly. Like not only that, but they had a extremely disastrous launch with a lot of bugs that spawned it spawned a lot of memes, right? Like the animations were half baked, and I don't think a game like Andromeda would have been able to be carried by gameplay alone, right? I mean, every gamer out there are going to compare it to the Mass Effect trilogy. I mean, they're within the same universe, right? And it's the same name, people had high expectations and they did not deliver. So, I it's unfortunate because BioWare, this really signaled, at least to a lot of gamers, at least to me, it signaled the beginning of the end. Because then they released Anthem. And Anthem, when I saw it, was it E3? Where was it announced? Wherever I saw it.
It was E3. I think it was the EA back when EA used to have press conferences. So
Okay.
Anthem came out 2019. I think it was announced right around when Andromeda was coming out, like 2017 maybe.
Right. And it looked so cool. I still
Yeah.
remember. I'm like, man, we're getting we're finally getting like an Iron Man game. I think that was a general consensus, like flying around in these suits. However, I think when Anthem came out, they were just very confused on the direction that they wanted to take, right? Like you said earlier in this video, it's as if they were chasing the Destiny hype train, right? They were chasing that live service trend, and honestly, there were rumors that they were running into development issues. So they were right out of the gate, they were marred with issues. And yes, I mean the game looked beautiful. I think if like you said, you played it, right? You saw the graphics. It looks nice. The artwork looks nice.
Yeah, I mean the game visually, like arguably, like still would hold up somewhat today. To like it beats out many. Like it was a gorgeous game, and honestly, I feel like in the same vein as Andromeda, like the gameplay was actually pretty solid. Like it was quite fun to play.
Oh yeah, the flying mechanics were amazing.
Yeah, even the shooting, like like it when it worked, like it played like butter. It was just, again, like you're playing the game and it just feels empty. The story is empty. The world, the main hub world, I'm gonna pretend to remember what the name of like the main city was. It's kind of like the Citadel on Destiny. Like there's a little hub world, like just like, again, you come to expect from BioWare like deep and rich lore, well-written characters, and like you just couldn't give a care about any of these characters, any of the story. The story was convoluted as hell. It was just like, oh, the anthem of life and all these creatures from like, it's like a weird like Matrix sort of a story. Like it was all over the place. But again, I I think it was full of good ideas. And honestly, maybe, I don't know if this is a controversial opinion, I think the game could have worked. The game honestly, like, inherently didn't have, like, it wasn't a bad idea. It was just like, again, it was so
Execution,
empty and yeah, devoid of like life.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is so the game came out in 2019, in February 22nd, 2019. They
And
actually
I bought it day one.
I'm sure you did.
I lined up at GameStop for that one.
You know, a lot of people, you know, like I said, it came out to very extremely lukewarm, you know, reception. In 2021, that's when BioWare canceled the planned, they had called it Anthem Next or Anthem 2.0, which was supposed to be an overhaul of just the game, and they were supposed to add more life into it, as you said, but they canceled it, and that left the game in a maintenance state. And actually, I'm actually surprised. I saw that they recently shut down the servers for Anthem.
Yeah, no, it was like
January.
in the last year. Was
January
it
of this year? Yeah.
Okay.
Which is insane. I'm like, I would have expected them to shut off 2021, 2022, but I mean, I guess the 4 or 5 people that were still playing Anthem must have really been enjoying it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like and this is kind of like a well-known thing. I literally just had to Google what the name of it was. So I was getting far in the story too. Like I played a decent amount of Anthem, but like you get to this part of the story that's called, I was just trying to remember, it's called the Tombs of the Legionnaires, and it's like the mission that everybody remembers, where it's like the game just crawls to a halt, where you have to do like 4 trials, and like I think it literally becomes impossible to clear, because it's like you had to do it in multiplayer, and it was like super grindy, and like I just got to that point. I was like all dead set on like completing this game for whatever content was there, and like you just hit this damn wall where it's like, yeah, I don't want to play this anymore because it's like gonna require like countless hours of mindless, like horrible, like so that's when I stopped playing. And so I'm like, I don't even know how they kept servers up if people got to that point. Like I didn't even think it was completable without other people online.
Yeah, yeah, it's unfortunate how that turned out. But I would say this, right? With all that said, I think that was kind of really the tipping point. That's where players finally lost faith and lost trust in BioWare. Now, before we jump into if we think BioWare can recover, wanted to do some quick housekeeping items. Again, all of our social links are in the description below in the Linktree link. We are on YouTube, of course, on Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, or X. Marco and I were always looking forward to engaging with you, the audience, with the community. We're aiming to build a like-minded community that vibes with us, that would want to talk video games, game, etc. We're on the road to 100 subscribers on YouTube. I think we're at what are we at, Marco? 28. We're at 28 right now, but at 100 subscribers, we will be doing a giveaway of a video game key, a $20 video game key of your choice. It doesn't matter the platform, right? We're platform agnostic here. So make sure to subscribe, make sure to like, leave a comment. We would love to talk to you about, video games.
Put in the comments what your favorite BioWare game is and why.
Yes, please do. And please say KOTOR so then Marco can play KOTOR. And
no, honestly, we didn't even talk about, we completely skipped, like, I want to talk about Jade Empire, man. Bring Jade Empire 2, make it happen. Make it absolutely happen. What a phenomenal RPG that was. I love that game. That's why it's in the thumbnail. I want Jade Empire 2. Bring it back, Xbox.
Absolutely agree with you. And I think we might have talked about this in one of their showcase videos. I had mistakenly remembered Onimusha as Jade Empire or vice versa. The game I actually played was Jade Empire, not Onimusha. But I was like, I was so excited for Onimusha. I'm like, I played this, but I'm like, no, I played Jade Empire. And yes, Jade Empire, absolutely phenomenal.
So good.
So good. I actually have it on Steam right now, and maybe I'll add that. Maybe I'll do.
It's honestly worth a replay.
Yeah, like I don't remember too much of it. I'll be honest with you. And dude, right now on the Steam sale, it's $3.74, man.
Yeah. I like, honestly, the story was really good, and like, yeah, it's just straight up martial arts, kung fu. Like, you don't see those types of games anymore, man.
No, you don't. But all right, well, let's talk about whether we think BioWare can recover, right? Like, with everything going on right now in the gaming industry, with the recent EA, ownership transfers, and just developers being sloppy in general, do you think BioWare can return to making not good, but great single-player RPGs? Or do you think the studio is too different now, and this is just the status quo for BioWare?
I think their next game is do or die. I think Mass Effect, is definitely their next game. It's entered into pre-production pretty much. They canceled any and all DLC that they were planning for Veilguard, which, by the way, took way too long. And again, we kind of alluded to, was disappointing to many. This next Mass Effect game, which I honestly don't think we see for another 3 years at least. Like, this is a 2029, 2030 game. Like, it has to be, given how long it took them to make Dragon Age and how many delays that game received. We need to see that game soon. Just a trailer, like where in the world, the universe of Mass Effect are we? I know they kind of showed like old favorite characters like Liara and like the original teaser trailer, etc. Like they need to hit that game, and it has to be a return to form. I think part of the reason why people hated Veilguard and to the same extent Andromeda was it became a little bit too lighthearted in tone. I think that was a big problem for both of those games. Is like, yeah, the gameplay, like for what the little I played of Veilguard, like the combat is good. I only played like an hour and a half. I'm sure once I get deeper, it'll even open up even more. Like the combat's fine, but like where it falls short, I think for many people is the campiness and the lightheartedness, more cartoony. Like the original Dragon Age and Mass Effect arguably are very dark tone game. Like even Jade Empire, like it had some comedy and humor, but like it's a dark game at its core.
Yeah.
Like they need to hit that on the writing for people to even give this game a second glance. So I think it's do or die. Like if the next Mass Effect doesn't succeed, we don't see BioWare as a studio anymore.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. I mean, it's going on 6 years since I think the last mention or teaser of the new Mass Effect, and yeah, I would love to see them return to their grittier roots. Not that having humor in games is bad, but man, Mass Effect is like a space opera, right? Like I need that drama, I need the intensity, right? They need to go back to their roots. There's no more of this like half baked, not sure what direction they want to go kind of BS that's been happening with BioWare. But honestly, I agree with you. I think this is do or die. And do I think they can return to making single player RPGs like great ones? Sure. But I think there's a lot to go through, and it's definitely an uphill battle. Now I'll say this. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I was gonna say perhaps maybe a controversial opinion. Honestly, my fear with the new Mass Effect is that they're gonna play it almost too safe because of how poorly Veilguard did, and what we've seen in the trailers. Again, leaning on old characters like Shepard probably returning, Liara. The last we saw was, I think, actually 2-3 years ago. They released a screenshot of a planet, and people were speculating that it alluded to the Geth returning. Like, I think it's just leaning too much on the
That's too
past. Like,
safe. Yeah.
it's almost too safe, and that's kind of my point of like, I don't mind if they continued Andromeda in the sense of like, give me a brand new galaxy, new characters, just give me a dark, gritty story with, again, like you said, consequences matter, choices matter. Like, I don't need to see the Geth and Liara and Shepard play a Shepard again, as amazing as those
No.
characters are. Like,
Yeah.
just
No.
give me new characters. Like, don't play it so safe.
They've done their time. We've experienced their stories. Give us something new, right? But just go back to the roots of. When I say go back to roots, I'm not saying redo the story, but very much just the tone of the story, the pacing, like you said, the morals and the character development. I think that is so important. Now, like I said, it's going to be an uphill battle, but if BioWare cannot recover, I really hope they sell the rights to these games to Larian. I mean, Larian did amazing with Baldur's Gate, and every single Larian game is phenomenal. I would hate for EA if they end up dissolving the studio, and we're seeing a lot of that lately. I hope they sell the rights to Larian, because I would hate to see that a company sit on the rights to Mass Effect, to Dragon Age, to Jade Empire, KOTOR. Like it would suck not to be able to experience new games within these worlds.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like if that were to happen, I think Larian would obviously be a studio where it would be in safe hands. I just don't know if they'd be interested. Like obviously, like Divinity, I don't know too much about Divinity, but obviously they're working on their big new game in that universe. Like,
Yeah, it looks
I
insane.
don't know, like, I don't know if Larian would be up to it. Like, we do have other studios, and maybe we could quickly talk about them. Like,
Hmm.
what all and many are calling like a Mass Effect likes. You know, we have the new game Exodus, which comes from the same writers.
Yeah.
I think they're working on like Wizards of the Coast too. Like, there's a lot of deep lore coming out of that game. Owlcat Studios is working on The Expanse, Osiris Reborn.
Oh yeah, that
Um,
looks good. Yep.
yep.
Hmm.
And then Casey Hudson's studio, like I mentioned, there's working on I'm forgetting the name of the Star Wars game, but we imagine, even though we just saw a quick trailer, like it's gonna be like a an action RPG set in the Star Wars universe, which has the potential to be massive as well. Um, I mean, yeah, we have some things to hold and tide us over until we see what this new Mass Effect game could look like. But yeah, I don't. If the new game were to die, like I don't even know if they sell the rights. To be honest, I think they just let that series die. Like you can't have two failed games and one intellectual property and still try to, unless you're Tony Hawk, there's there's not much room after that, especially in this day and age when these games take so long to make. Like again, it truly is do or die for Mass Effect, and I really hope it is due because it is my favorite trilogy and series of all time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. Ah, man. This video kind of hits home, man. Like I grew up on Mass Effect and KOTOR. Like it. Hearing you say that there's a chance that these games will never be made again, like no sequels, it sucks, man. I don't know if it's the nostalgia playing with my heartstrings, but those were genuinely amazing, phenomenal games. And the fact that like we might not get another KOTOR ever again, it's a little depressing, honestly.
I mean, just to speak to the power of Mass Effect, like I mentioned, like I'm married and I've showed my games or certain games to my wife that I thought had good stories, and she'll sometimes watch me play through the games. I made her sit through the Mass Effect trilogy, and she was locked in through that whole story. Like she wanted to know. Like I played as Fem Shep as the first time. Shout out to Jennifer Hale. Like I had always played as like male Shep Paragon for the few times I played it. Bought the Legendary collection and played as Fem Shep Renegade. And she loved it, even though, like I hate the Renegade path, but I had to force myself to do it just to play something new while also showing my wife. And she's like, she loved that. She's excited for the new Mass Effect. And yeah, and this is coming from a non-gamer who, she's like, when's the Mass Effect TV show coming out? Which I think Amazon's doing that, if I'm not mistaken. Someone's doing a Mass Effect TV show. I don't have
Well,
high hopes for it, but
if anyone's gonna do it right, I think, and I don't I might regret saying this, but I think Amazon would be the
oh, that's a hot
perfect.
take.
I mean, hey,
That's a hot take.
Fallout was good.
That's fair.
Fallout was great actually. As a huge Fallout fan, I mean, Fallout's one of my top franchises of all time. I think they did it justice, honestly.
No, that's fair.
So,
But
yeah.
then they did Lord of the Rings as well, and that show was just all over the place.
Hey, we're talking about gaming shows, man. Not you know what I mean.
You're right. You're right.
But
Another video.
yeah, another video, man. Another video. But anyways, you guys, I just wanna close off with this, right? Listen, BioWare Studio, their story, it started way like 20-ish, 30 years ago. They've had ups and downs, but it doesn't mean that their story is ending, right? We get it. In recent times, their games have not been amazing, but we've had incredible creative teams in BioWare create amazing stories with changing technology, right? I mean, from the 90s to now, how technology has changed and leadership changes, and maybe one day BioWare will return to its former glory. But until then, we can always have wishful thinking and, just fingers crossed.
Until then, I got Garrus Vicarian. Watch it. I can't even point to it.
That's it right there. Yeah.
He's right there next to my little poster too. So
There you go.
always number one in our hearts. But
Yep.
come on, BioWare. Let's see that new Mass Effect.
Yep. Exactly. But for the viewers that stuck around till the end of this video, hey, like Marco said, tell us what your favorite BioWare game is. We would love to hear it, and if you think BioWare can make a comeback.
And who's your favorite character, and why is it Garrus?
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.